Hey guys, Dave from Underdark here, 4 Nerds by Nerds, hanging out with the full crew today. Before we get to introductions, if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, go in the description below, click the link, put your name and email in, and you will get cool shit delivered right to your inbox. Who am I with today?
Well, I'm holding out until you go and sign up for the newsletter. We're waiting.
Dun, dun, dun.
I got all day. No, just kidding. Nerddark Ryan here.
I'm Nerddark Ted.
Nathan Underdark.
And today we're going to be discussing the new Unearthed Arcana, Light, Dark, and Underdark.
Underdark. No, it's over time.
And yeah, I did a little straw poll recently, and we're gonna break this one in half. We're gonna talk about the fighting styles introduced, as well as the new Ranger archetype.
It's good stuff.
Also known as Ranger Danger.
Yeah, I feel like, for 4 pages, this thing felt rather packed. There's only
yeah.
It's packed full of goodness.
It's 4 pages, and even the 4th page isn't really all that much covered. It's less than half a page, but what we have here, it is jam packed.
It's dense with interesting stuff for sure. So.
I feel like one of the reasons we have to break this one in half is because there's some things on here I just feel like we have to, I don't know,
plumb the implications of
and maybe bitch a little bit or
okay. So let's look at the fighting styles first.
We have 2.
We do have 2.
You have close quarter shooter and tunnel fighter. Now the close quarter shooter is clearly for your ranged characters, and the archery fighting style, in the player's handbook, gives you a +2 to hit with ranged weapons. Awesome, especially for an edition where there's very little extra pluses to hit.
Well, so what's cool about that one is if you wanted to make... I like the idea of the character that just has a shitload of concealed daggers on them, like the I appear to carry no weapons gambler sort of type. So just throw daggers in people's face all of a sudden,
right.
And that totally lets you make that character without being at a horrendous disadvantage now for making it.
Absolutely. So the close quarter shooter winds up saying for one of those pluses from the archery fighting style, you're going to still get the +1, but then you wind up getting the ability to make a ranged attack at 5 feet without disadvantage.
Yeah.
Which it takes a feat to get that for crossbow.
Yeah. And you ignore 1/2 and 3/4 cover to targets within 30 feet.
Takes another feat to get that sharpshooter.
Ridiculous amount of power in this.
I'll take that for a +1, sure.
And talk about implications. I know that there's going to be people out there who was like, well, I want to make the ultimate ranged character, so I'm going to take 1 level of fighter, get the fighting style, and then I'm going to go, ranger, get the fighting style, from there at 3rd or at 2nd, so at total 3rd. And now I've got a +3 to hit, and I've got all these cool bonuses, and I don't need to worry about those feats.
So, for balance sake, maybe stripping out the +1, starts to rectify the problem a little bit. I don't know.
It's it's kind of weird. One of the problems that I'm seeing is the fact that it just steps on so many toes.
Yeah.
Right.
It steps on the toes of another fighting style. It steps on the toes of 2 different feats.
Yeah.
So I would honestly, I would pull out the cover aspect.
You know what?
Entirely.
That's fair. Strip out the non-disadvantage for close quarters, and
What kind of cover is someone within 5 feet are you going to be anyways?
No, it's within 30
feet.
feet.
30 feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would give it, +1 to hit, and take away, and remove the disadvantage for firing 5 feet away,
And then that's a balance
and
thing.
that's it. That's what I would do.
Okay, so
But-
about the stepping on toe things, this is always my gripe with 5th edition. That idea of you're in this person's territory, whatever. I'm not big on it. And first off, okay, so it kind of steps on the Crossbow Expert, but Crossbow Expert most of the feat doesn't work for anything except a crossbow. So it's you get all those benefits, including, I think, the
reloading quicker.
The reload. Well, no, it's the disadvantage part. Isn't that part of the Crossbow Expert? Is you don't have disadvantage at
Yes,
close
it
range?
is.
Yeah. So, but I can't take that as a non-crossbow person and get this. So
Yes,
this
you
is
can. You don't actually have to use a crossbow to get that benefit.
I felt like I reread it.
No, it's the load properties for crossbows.
Yeah.
The thing with
Any
the hand
weapon
crossbow.
any weapon that could eventually have a load property is really what Crossbow Expert addresses.
Yeah, I would use it for firearms and stuff as well.
Yeah, if you're flintlocking.
But that one aspect of it actually doesn't call. It's not specific to crossbow. It's range.
Okay, so it's just
range
open to
attacks.
whatever. Yeah. So it takes a slice of a feat basically, and it takes
2 feats. Sharpshooter is the other one that
Yeah.
lets you ignore cover.
At any range, right?
Yes, at any range. Yeah.
But this is only within 30 feet.
This is only
So it's
Which goes along with the fighting style of close quarter shooter. So
But yeah, I feel like if you're gonna make the ultimate archer character, you're gonna take like sharpshooter. anyway.
but if you're an Underdark archer, you're not going to take sharpshooter.
You're gonna dip. You're gonna class dip like
why?
Ted
Because
said.
you're looking at you're looking at being able to do a +10 to damage.
Oh, there is that.
Like there's no range that's not useful at.
This is
Matter
true.
of fact, at close quarters it's more useful because they're like, oh my god, it's in my face.
It's coming right for me.
That's one of the great things about the feats are they don't just give you one thing, and they don't just give you.
Well, that's part of the design logic.
The design logic for the feats is really great in this edition for that
Multi-tier,
purpose
yeah.
because you can say, well, this aspect also just works for all this other kind of stuff.
Now, granted, sharpshooter then makes this the part of close quarter shooter like a moot point, and it extends it out to any range, which is kind of cool. Like so I don't know. I don't actually know how I'd fix this one yet.
I think I would strip out the cover mechanic and leave the rest intact, like the ignoring of cover. And then, like, Ted has also said that, so it reiterates that idea. But I think it tends to work now. Like you are stepping on the part of the toes of one thing.
right. So
Yeah.
I mean,
It's not as terrible as written.
it's not completely broken. Like it's totally playable. But I just think in comparison to the other fighting styles that are out there,
Why would you take them?
like this
Well,
one.
if you're
if you're
not
gonna
a
be
ranged character,
yeah.
Yeah, if you're a ranged character, it's like, all right, I would see taking this one versus the base archery. This one is
9 times
superior.
out of 10. Yeah.
Well, it depends too. Like that, the extra +1 to hit is kind of a big deal too. So you'd really have to make a choice. I would like to see it. I would probably, again,
Playtest it
I would
out.
play test everything before I take things away. That's just my philosophy because I would want to see what it looks like if someone decides to play a human. And then at third level they have a fighting style through ranger and fighter and see what that character looks like.
Plus the feat that they're able to take, it's stacking on.
That's why I said human.
Yeah.
So to really just test the bounds and see what that character looks like,
Right.
Compared to other characters. Because one, you're waiting to get your archetype, and multi-classing, in this edition comes at a price. So
Absolutely.
does that price, balance the scales is kind of the question.
Well, just getting that extra bonus can be a big difference. It's seriously every bonus that you stack on your to hit modifier, it seriously revs up those curves. I was shocked when I rolled a 3 in the Witch Hunter game and still managed to hit whatever we were fighting.
Zombie, though.
Like it doesn't even matter. Like a 3 hit. That was ridiculous.
No, the armor classes are really low in 5th edition. It's not really
Right. Well, that goes to the point of every single plus makes a difference. So that if you're hitting on everything but a 1, because you've gotten all those pluses stacking up, it makes a big difference.
Well, let's just assume that pretty much the Deep Stalker Ranger, which we'll also talk about, is taking this. They're only going to get this. Or Archer. Or they can take Archery, right?
Right.
So, I mean, those are their only choices.
or they dip in the fighter.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So, again, there's things that Rangers get at higher levels that are beneficial to take over taking a few fighter levels.
Right, and you're also looking at you figuring out your stat bumper feats as well. Like that's also going to factor in. That's why I'm not like, oh, we need to pull this one apart. I would have to see it used, whatever. Like I don't think the extra +1's going to break my game so much.
It's not the +1. It's everything else that I had this tactically set out to really mess with the party. And this character's like, I don't care.
One guy out of the entire party hitting a guy who's behind cover is not such a big deal.
Yeah.
So let's move on to Tunnel Fighter. What are you guys' opinions on that one?
That was a little wonky, too.
I think it's the last thing. It's like the last piece of the puzzle for the Dwarven Defender kind of feel. Like if you were wondering how to make it, this is what you need.
It's okay. So I had some thoughts on this one, right?
Okay.
Which has nothing to do with fighting in tunnels. Polar Master, Sentinel.
Yep, we were all
Battlemaster.
thinking that.
Yeah.
Battlemaster, yeah. Because with the lunge, the lunge, reach weapon combo, then some of the effects you can put on people, the holding them in place, the attack upon attack.
Yeah, getting all the attacks of opportunity for the reach weapon.
Yeah.
That's where this is going to shine.
Yeah.
The problem that I see with this is that the making attacks of opportunity without limit.
With limitless, literally, you are slaughtering kobolds and goblins all day.
So,
But
How many monsters are going to run by you after 3 of them die? You know, really? Like,
well, here's the other thing to keep in mind too is, like, this is the only fighting style that requires an action. You got to activate this one.
yeah, bonus that uses your bonus action.
Yeah, to turn it on.
Yeah.
Now, it might be more interesting if there was another mechanic like you can't move more than X, or it did something to your movement. You know, because you're entering this defensive stance.
Yeah.
I think that would be a little more apropos.
Your movement becomes 0 for effects, something like that. Yeah, like or goes down to like 15 or something ridiculous.
I don't know what I would.
It's
plug
just
it to.
until the start of your next turn. So you stop moving when it's the start. You know, at the end of the turn, you turn on your defensive.
Well, yeah, that's true. Like, to keep doing this, you have to keep blowing your bonus action.
yeah.
yes.
So I think that's the mitigating factor.
So
That's-
yes, if you're doing
except
this,
for-
you wouldn't be able to take the polearm expert and attack with that D4 side of your haft.
But you
you're-
could potentially be making 6 to 8 attacks in the round if things do opt to run by you.
Yes. So I mean, there's definitely uses for it. You know, as you guys say, yes, how many things are going to attempt to run by you?
Well,
If you skewer the first two.
But wait, think about this though, right? You have the Paladin of the Crown in the Sword Coast book, right? That basically has a area of effect, compelled duel effect. So enemies, foes can't fight anything else but you. And that, like, so if they want to inflict harm to you, right? So I mean, I guess what I would do at that point,
Yeah,
is
but
just,
is that compelled duel versus one thing, or really is it really an area of effect?
It's an area of
30
effect.
feet.
Well, it's an area of
30 foot
effect that
radius.
they can't move away from you.
Right. Okay.
yeah.
Okay, but they can't attack anything but you with a saving throw. Is kind of the thing too, right?
Yes.
Really?
I
I
just
have
read
to
it
reread
once.
it, 'cause if it's actually the spell, it may be within 30 feet of you, but it's still only target one person.
No, it's not the spell. It's
But we're not talking about the Sword Coast thing.
No, we're
Yeah.
not. But we're talking about the implications of this, Powell, and other things. When the only thing you can fight is this guy at the center of this thing that has this incredible ability. I mean, at this point, that's when I have things after all the enemies see. Just their buddies getting cut down left and right. They all pull out bows and start shooting from that 30 foot away or whatever. So you have to apply like education and logic to
Yes.
that
Yeah,
ability.
but that's just like one character type.
Yes, but
I'm saying overall, I don't think it's super powerful. It's great because it will stop enemies from running by you to kill your wizard friends and other things.
there are times that that you can make a build where this utterly shines. But how often is that situation going?
Well, I mean, the player that's going to take that is going to take that build that's going to shine. So 100% of the time.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
that's-
but what Ted's saying is, like, in the game, is
Yeah.
that how often are you going to get your
the
circumstances
circumstantials.
perfect?
Well, in part, as the GM, the idea that you want to reward player choice. If it's the thing that they spend a lot of resources on, you do want to have that to come up, but it could unbalance your game.
Yeah, it just really depends on how it works out. I would have to see how the things play with each other. And as a GM, I don't think you're obligated to go out of your way to reward that choice. But if it makes sense, you know, you can throw it in there and flip them a bone. You know, it's not like you're throwing the Undead Slayer, undead to kill. This is like certain, battle circumstances that they're trying to set up. That
Numbers.
Like, yeah,
You're talking numbers.
if they're constructing a build a certain way, then and they feel like this is going to come up and they're going to do this thing. Like, I feel it's almost like their job to make it happen because they've already started the ball rolling in that direction. Just
Except for they don't write the adventure or the encounter, so they have fucking no control
All
over
you
it
have-
whatsoever.
all you have-
well,
to do-
then it goes back to don't try and control things you don't have any control over.
All you have to do is find a hallway,
Yeah.
and you've created the circumstances you need for this
A hallway and make a shitload of
and-
noise in
and
your
something
heavy armor.
and something enticing behind you, like a tasty wizard or something.
or a breach in the wall. Like, there's definitely thematic ways you could do something
Yeah.
like that. That would be cool.
Yeah.
That you could put in there once in a while, or the scene on the bridge where they
the
hold
Helm's
the
Deep
bridge.
defense, yeah, type of deal.
So there's things like that. Yeah, absolutely, because it's thematic and cool. But like every adventure, do you have to work it out? No, not really.
No.
Let them do it. Now, if they do clever shit to set it up, that's on them, man. Let it go for it. More power to them. That's how I prefer to see it done.
Yeah, or the volley of archer arrows that just drops them in the round because they're like, oh, I didn't think about the fact that they would just throw
Yeah.
shit at me.
It's the scene from what the hell's that movie? It's It's a Wire Fu movie.
Well, where he's
Was
got
it
all the
Hero?
arrows in him.
Was
yeah.
it Hero?
I think it might have been Hero. Yeah.
Yeah. When they show, like, they don't show the death scene, they just show the wall.
Of
There's
arrows.
nothing but arrows except for the silhouette of where a man used to be.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be exactly that.
Make it so.
Ranger Archetype Deep Stalker.
Restraining order. I have a deep restraining order on this ranger.
I like this because I've always enjoyed building the dwarf ranger, the tunnel, the
Tunnel runner. Well, this ranger is also very roguish. Like it's building the ranger rogue without having to take your rogue levels if you don't wanna.
So third level you get your plus 10 bonus to your speed. You can use an attack to attack and then essentially disappear. And you can hide as a bonus action. I thought that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, so it's really weird.
It's very situational though. That even that plus 10 to speed is the first round of the combat.
Yeah, but then after that you get the bonus action to hide.
Which is awesome. I mean, in a way, well, it's almost like the same allocation of the rogue, except for you have a little less flexibility what you can do.
I like they could give you bonus spells that you just always know.
Well,
You don't have to worry about that.
I think the other builds of ranger have that too, maybe.
I don't believe so.
Most things
I don't think
get
so.
the
I don't
expanded.
think so.
Oh, okay.
No,
That's something that they keep doing in the
And they're good ones that you probably wouldn't pick. Like, who's going to take Rope Trick? But it's really
awesome
freaking
and
useful.
yeah.
Well, no, it's important in this case because what they're doing is they're giving spells they wouldn't normally have access to.
Yeah.
Yes.
These
also
aren't
true.
on the list.
This is true.
They could always Charlie Brown it though and put it in the playtest and then take it away.
Yeah, like glyph awarding.
Well, yeah. I was gonna say with like the Storm
preliminaries.
Sorcerer, like same deal, where like they kind of.
I don't think it's as nearly a big deal with the ranger because
No.
of the facts that
You're not gonna be super casting. These
Yeah,
are
you don't
non-combative.
get that many
These aren't
spells.
like uber spells anyway. It's
Yeah.
like Rope Trick and Disguise Self and stuff like
They're
that.
kind of like RPE or
Well, I mean,
like
glyph awarding
fleshing
is
out
probably the
character.
biggest bang right there.
and it's
Literally,
ninth level.
Literally,
Yeah.
But we're skipping deep. We're also skipping the other part of it, which is,
Your magic dark vision.
they get dark vision with a range of 90 feet, which is good for everybody but the drow. They just
Yeah.
flip the bird at the drow.
It's like your drow. I mean,
Well, drow-
and you have a panther, so it's cool.
The Zerf Neblin get the 120 as well.
Oh yeah. Screw those guys too. They're short and heavy.
Yeah. But they also can take a feat that gives them all these magical abilities. So
True.
it's like Crimea River, all right? Yeah.
They're no Dugars, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, it's true.
And then at 7th level, they get Iron Mind, which is just proficiency and wisdom saving throws.
Because
which is never a bad thing.
when you're hunting mind flayers left and right, you need to be your mental mind needs to be sharp.
Mind flayers, beholders, you're coming up against all kinds of things with mental
Demons
attacks.
that are raging at you. Yeah.
The Stalker's Fury, very nice. Extra attack every round if you miss.
Yeah, that's...
Because you get so angry that you miss, you're like, oh,
I'm gonna hit you again.
I got this.
This if I really hit you this time.
Yeah.
So, which is super useful, again, situational, and if you're fighting monsters with low armor class, useless. But it is a way to give the Rangers another attack in a different way that doesn't step on anybody's toes, and it requires no action, which is important too, because
That would have
barbarians.
been really annoying if they made you take it as a bonus action or something.
Well, a lot of classes do. I mean, the bonus action
it's
is
true.
the mitigator.
Like, I mean, a lot of things with Rogue, like that bonus action that you get, it's a tough allocation. Like, if you're a 2-weapon fighter, do I hide or do I attack with that offhand weapon?
Right.
So, same thing.
Because I can't do both.
Because I just don't know.
Stalkers Dodge. Now,
Yeah.
was anybody else waiting for the once per short rest or once per long rest at the end of this one? Because I was.
For which one?
Stalkers Dodge, the 15th level one.
Yeah, the thing that you can just give someone disadvantage.
Yeah, one attack disadvantage every round. It's pretty cool.
Well, there's like a 10th level rogue thing where like once per round you can take half damage from things that you're aware of.
At 15th level, it doesn't bother me, and it's way better than some of the other like high level abilities where you go, what the? When you look at it, you're like, really? I had to wait 20 levels to get this?
Or like some of the high level barbarian stuff that they get, and you're like, really?
Yeah.
So I like it. I'm glad they didn't do it. I just thought they were going to. I thought I was going to read at the end of the statement, once per long rest or once per short rest. And you're like, oh, this is not that cool, guys.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
So
I think they did it right. I think it's 15th level. They did it.
The kid gloves are off, and you're fighting
Deep
Tenari.
Stalker. I feel like they did a good job of not front loading this ranger.
Well, yeah, and here's the other cool thing, right, about about Deep Stalker, right? You know, especially with my Dwarven Tunnel Runner character, who has the defensive stance. He's like, I don't even need my reactions anymore because I'm just going to get attacks of opportunity anyway.
And then if I miss, I get to attack.
Yeah, and then you can use your reaction to give people disadvantage. So it's a good resource management type ability, which
Right.
is
Now the rough
kinda
thing
cool.
about this is that you have to say it before the roll happens. That's the one not so great thing about it.
well, yeah, you know, you have to call forth, but
Yeah.
still, it's there. You know, a lot of times it's hard to use that reaction, especially for a warrior class.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
So the thing,
Other than that rare attack of opportunity. Yeah.
again, when it gets into resource management, there's not a whole lot of things that add bonus actions or reactions. So anytime that you get the ability to add something to say, oh well, now I have a resource that I can expend more regularly.
And it is a dodge, so I guess it's like you see something coming, and you're like, I'm totally getting out of the way of this thing.
Yeah.
So you get disadvantage.
Right.
So
So
I like it. It's good. It blows away the Beastmaster,
Absolutely.
and
by
it's
raw.
on par with the Hunter.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
maybe I don't know, maybe a little bit better. It's more interesting. At the very least.
I would
feel-
not say more.
The hunter gets to do out and out more damage.
Yeah,
This has more versatility. This is where you get to be ranger roguelite.
Yes.
You know, less filling, tastes great.
Yeah, like I said, it's more interesting anyway. I like it. I guess you'd have to see how it plays out. You know, maybe it doesn't stack up to the damage ability of the hunter. But and again, the ranger in 5e gets a lot of flack anyway. So I don't know if this mitigates them too much.
No, I don't have any problem with anything in the actual Deep Stalker makeup. It's the fighting styles that I felt were a little bit more, touchy.
They need that need the testing or whatever.
Yeah.
Like basically, it's you put those in your game. Do your players choose those 90% of the time? Then it might be too good. Like that's kind of the determining factor.
Yeah, or they always a multi-class fighter ranger.
Yeah.
There's something might be up.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the tip off, guys.
I don't really think it's that good.
So with that, guys, in the comments below, let us know what you think. How do you feel about these additions from the Unearthed Arcana? Will you be adding them in your game to play test or not? While you're at it, like, share, and subscribe.
You can check us out over on Facebook.
Or you can check us out on nerdarchy.com.
And while you're there, you can check out the store at Nerdarchy.
So until next time,
Stay nerdy.